Good morning, Pre-Calc. Today we're going to go ahead and check out some more operations with matrices. In our last lesson we did addition and subtraction as well as scalar multiplication. And what we're going to check out today is matrix multiplication. So this works a little bit weird. So let's jump into first describe the characteristics we have to have in order to actually be able to do matrix multiplication. So matrices A and B can only be multiplied if and only if the number of columns in A equals the number of rows in B. So we kind of have a weird stipulation that we have to pay attention to. So if that's not the case, we're not multiplying. Okay? So if matrix A has dimensions m by n, and matrix B has dimensions n by p, then our resulting matrix, so these guys have the same number of columns in A is the same as the rows in B. The resulting matrix is going to be an m by p matrix. So if we had matrix A that was m by n, matrix B was n by p, we're allowed to multiply them because those guys match up. Okay? And our result is going to be an m by p matrix. Okay, so what we're going to start off doing is we're just going to go ahead and we're going to have some matrices that we're going to try and multiply together. But remember, first we have to check and make sure that our dimensions work out where we can actually multiply them. So here's the matrices we're going to be using. First off, we're going to try A times D. Okay, so if we look at A, we have a 4 by 3 matrix, right? And we're trying to multiply that to D, which is a 3 by 1. Okay? And we have to check whether the columns of row matrix A match up with the rows here, and as you can tell they do, and we're going to be able to multiply them and then get a 4 by 1 matrix as our answer. So that's all we're doing for these. We're not actually doing the multiplication yet, we're just deciding whether we can. Right? So let's check out A times C. That's a 4 by 3 times C is a 2 by 4. See how these guys don't match up? That means it's not happening. We can't multiply them. Right? So try the remainder of these guys. Pause the video if you want to take a try and then see what happens. Right? And I'm going to quickly fly through them. B is a 1 by 5. E is a 5 by 2. So this guy works, and it's going to be a 1 by 2 as our answer. This B is a 1 by 5, and D is a 3 by 1. Doesn't work out because these guys don't match. Okay. And then this one you should have got yes, and that's a 2 by 3. This guy, yes, and a 5 by 4. This guy was a no, and this guy was a yes and a 3 by 5. Okay. So now let's look at how we actually multiply. Okay. So we know whether or not we can multiply and what our answer is going to look like in terms of its dimensions, but we got to figure out how we can actually multiply these guys together. And this is what's going to happen. Right? So the element in the mth row of an nth column of matrix AB is the sum of the products of the corresponding elements in row M of matrix A and column N of matrix B. So this is our pattern that we're going to see. If we are multiplying matrix A and matrix B together, and this is a 2 by 2 by another 2 by 2, which results in a 2 by 2, right? And we're going to have something that looks like this as our answer. Right, we're going to first have AE plus BG. Then we're going to have AF plus BH. We'll have CE plus DG. And then CF plus DH. So remember, these guys are all going to be numbers when we're actually multiplying. So it's going to look a lot prettier than that. Okay? But essentially what we did here, and we went through this row right here, right, which was the A and the B, and we multiplied it to this column. So A times E plus B times G. That was that first guy. Right? And then we kind of did the same thing right here, right, but we did it with this column. So A times F and B times H. And then for these guys down here, I was dealing with C and D. So first off, I did C times E plus D times G. So it was this basically multiplying things in this column to this row. And then for this final spot, it was multiplying things in this column to this, from this row to this column. So CF plus DH. So it takes a little while to get used to this because it is a little weird looking. But I think our best bet is to just go ahead and practice a few examples here. So on this next page, we have number 9 is a 2 by 2. So it's just like the example we just did, but now we have numbers instead of letters. So first off, we just got to make sure that this guy works out. And because these two numbers are the same, we know we can multiply these two matrices, and our result's going to be a 2 by 2. Right? So we have a 2 by 2 as our answer. And first, we're going to do a little work just to get this guy started. So it's going to be -4 times 6 is -24. And we're going to add -9 times -5. So I did this column times this row. And you just kind of go along. So -4 times 6 was -24. -9 times -5 is 45. And then we have this row times this column. So that's -4 times -1 is 4. And -4 times 4 is -16. And sorry, that actually should have been -9 times 4. So I'm just going to give us a little more room there. So -4 times -1 is 4. And -9 times 4 is -36. That's more like it. And remember, these guys are separated. They're separate elements. And then move down to our next row here, and we're going to multiply this row by this column. So first, 3 times 6 is 18. And -2 times -5 is 10. And then multiply this row by this column. 3 times -1 is -3. -2 times 4 is going to be -8. Okay, hopefully you can see all that. Okay, and then we can just simplify it down. So we add these guys together, -24 plus 45, that'll give us 21. Then we have 4 plus -36, that's -32. All right, we got 28 and -11. And there is our answer. All right, so go ahead and try number 10. All right, so pause it and then go ahead and jump in, give this one a try. This guy works out because both 2 by 2s. Right, these guys match, so we can multiply, and our answer is going to be a 2 by 2 as well. I'm going to give us a little more room here. And remember, first we multiply this row by this column. So -2 times 8 is -16. 0 times -2 is 0. And then we're going to go this row by this column. So -2 times -3 is 6. 0 times -9 is 0. And then to move to this spot right here, we're going to do 6 times 8 is 48. 4 times -2 is -8. 6 times -3 is -18. And 4 times -9 will give us -36. And then we actually have to multiply these, add these guys. So that's going to be -16, 6, we got 40, and we got -54. And there's our answer. Okay, so let's check out some that aren't 2 by 2 and make sure that we're doing these guys all right. So this guy, we have a 2 by 3, and that's this one right here, times a 3 by 1. So as you can see, these two numbers match up, so we're good to go, and our answer is going to actually just be a 2 by 1. So in a scenario like this, right, we're going to have a 2 by 1. That's just going to be 2 rows and 1 column. I'm going to give us a decent amount of room though, because the way we're going to get this guy, because there's 3 guys in this row right here, we're going to actually have 3 different things we're going to be adding together. So I'm going to start with this row, and we only have 1 column. So we're going to have -7 times -6 is 42. Then we got 2 times 4 is 8. And -11 times -3 is 33. All right, so all these guys really just represent one element because we're going to add them together in the end. All right? And then over here, we're going to do this second row with the column. So 3 times -6 is -18. -5 times 4 is -20. And -2 times -3 is +6. And when we add these guys together, I think we get something like this. We should get 83. And we get -18, -20, that's -38, -32, I believe. All right, and see how we add a 2 by 1 as our answer, just as expected, right? All right, so this looks kind of different because we have the addition and subtraction in between, but those guys work out. All right, so let's just do one more, all right? And we'll see. Actually, let's make it 2. We'll do 12 and 17 because 17 is kind of cool. And so this one we have, it looks like a 1 by 2 times a 2 by 4. So this guy works out because those 2 numbers match up, right? And then what we can do is we can say that our resulting answer is going to be a 1 by 4. 1 row, 4 columns. All right, so let's go ahead and map this one out here. And we're going to have something like this right here. We're going to have 2 times 3 is 6. -8 times -2 is 16. There's our first element. All right? And then we're going to leave a little space. The next one's going to be 2 times 10 is 20. -8 times -7 is +56. 2 times -4 for this next guy is -8. -8 times 5 is -40. 2 times -3 is -6. And -8 times -6 is +48. Hopefully you can see that's 48. And then I just got to add these guys together. So that's 22, 76, -48, and that was 42. And there we have it. And just as expected, we have a 1 by 4 matrix as our result. Okay, so the last one is 17. It says, given matrix A and B to the left, find A, B, and BA. What can we conclude from this result? Okay, so basically we're going to see if matrix multiplication is commutative, if order matters or not. Right? So if it's commutative, that means order doesn't matter, and we could do AB is equal to BA, but let's check it out. So if we do A times B, right, we end up getting something like this right here. So that's going to be, remember, we're taking A and its top row and multiplying it to the first column B, so that's 3 times -2. It's going to be -6, and -1 times 7 is -7. And then we're going to do it to the same row, but the second column, so that's going to be 30, 3 times 10, and -6. And then do the same for this row. 4 times -2 is -8. 8 times 7 is 56. And then 4 times 10 is 40. 8 times 6 is 48. Right. So when we add these guys together, A times B is going to give us -13. Then we get 24. We get 48 and 88. Okay, so there's our answer for A times B. So over here, let's do B times A. So we're kind of flipping these guys. So now we're going to actually start this row times this column here. So -2 times 3 is -6. And then we have 10 times 4 is 40. And then we're going to take the same row here and go to that column. So -2 times 1 is 2. And then we have 10 times 8 is 80. And let's continue on. We're going to take this row and multiply it to those guys. So 7 times 3 is 21. 6 times 4 is 24. And then we got 7 times -1 is -7. And 8 times 6 is 48. And when I combine all these guys together, I get 34. I got 2 plus 8 is 82. And you can already kind of tell that we're going to say that matrix multiplication is not commutative because order does matter in this scenario because these guys ended up not equaling each other. Right? So definitely a little bit tougher of a lesson. I have a little mini quiz for you as well. And what I want you to do is let's just do the odds on homework 5, please. So just the odds on homework 5. Hope you guys have a good weekend.